Welcome back to Ruby on Nails, and this is the worst video I have ever made. This is definitely a nail fail where I try to recreate this beautiful nail art look by Tengoku Nails, and let's just jump into it, because it's gonna be a long one, and it's gonna be bad, but don't you worry, you'll see every bit of the process. So first things first, before I have to paint on a tortured soul of a Kirby, is to paint the background. And I chose Starrily's Earth because it was the closest thing to the original photo that I have in my collection. You might have something better. You'll probably just do better in general. But Starrily's Earth is a beautiful magnetic cat eye with a multi-chrome shift from purple to blue with a scattered hollow all throughout it. It's beautiful. Anyway, once I have that fully layered on in just 2 coats after holding the magnet over the nail, 30 seconds each layer, I'm going to put a quick dry top coat on top of this because I'm going to be making a lot of mistakes and I need to have a barrier in between the base color and my mistake because I'm going to wipe that shit off with acetone. And like I said earlier, once I have the quick dry top coat on top, I find that if I hold the magnet over the nail in the same position once again, I get a much crisper cat eye because when you rehydrate the dried out polish with your top coat, it can cause this special effect to blur or disappear, and we want some nice crisp lines, so hold that magnet over it. Now let's take a moment to appreciate how stunning Earth is, all on its own, because I'm about to ruin this. I'm gonna ruin it really good. Before we see what went horribly wrong with this tutorial, let's see something that went horribly right, which were these pretty little starbursts that I put on my index finger and my pinky to make it seem more spacey. Using regular polish, I put little dots on my nails and then I cross them out in a bit of a lowercase t fashion to make cute little starbursts. I really like these. You should definitely copy this at home, but nothing else from this video because the rest of it is trash. While we wait for me to finish crossing my T's, let me give you a little bit of a warning or a heads up if you do try to recreate Tengoku's nails. She did it in gel. I did this in regular nail polish. If you're gonna do it in gel or in acrylic paint because it'll be much easier and you will not struggle, or in my case, struggle until you make something because you've run out of time to film. Anywho, once I'm done crossing my T's, I'm going to go in with a dotting tool just to make a few more white dots. I want it to seem a little bit more galaxy-like, so I decided to add some quote-unquote larger stars. I think this turned out really well, and if I had just stopped here, this nail art look would have been perfect, and it would have been an easy galaxy tutorial. However, I kept going. One of the things that I loved about the original nail art look is these big glowy stars that are kind of like an accent nail, but they really stood out to me and it really reminded me of the Kirby games as stars are a repeating motif all throughout the games. And I forgot how to draw a star, the first star that I drew. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, oh, maybe if I just kind of draw it as like a shitty flower, it'll work. Like, if you wanted to draw a flower, that this would look fine. But I wanted a star, and this is just kind of a yellow orchidy blob. The horrible thing is that I have star nail vinyls. I could have whipped out a star in like 2 seconds. But no, I was like, I gotta hand paint everything. Oh look, I remembered how to draw a star. Yeah, it's that stupid thing that was like, oh, you write an A, but you make the arms longer than the body. That doesn't make any sense. It sounds like I'm murdering someone. Oh god. Anyway, remembered how to draw a star here. It looks better, but it's not great. It still turned into a blobby orchid flower. It's a little less blobby than the other one, but just keep on trucking. And you know, a recurring thing throughout this entire thing is, you know, it doesn't look great, but maybe if we just put some acetone on it, it'll fix everything. Well, acetone can fix a lot of mistakes. Can't fix everything, as you can see here. But I did achieve that glowy effect that I wanted for my stars, and they don't look so blobby anymore. They look like proper stars, for the most part. I should have just used my nail vinyls. Would have saved me a lot of time and cleanup. I spent like 30 minutes on these stars. Well, and because this is still Galaxy nail art, let's add some white stars all around it. And by white stars, I mean white dots, just to make it seem a little bit more spacey and to match the nail art a little bit better, even though it'll never match. It never will. This is fine. And because I wanted this to match the other nails a little bit better, I added some T stars as well, just to make it a little bit more cohesive and matchy-matchy. You know, can't just have this star nail out on its own for some reason. So I can easily say everything leading up to this point has been pretty good nail art wise. It's been fine. If I stopped there, it would have been an a-okay nail art look. However, I needed to make this Kirby. The Kirby is the look. It is the main centerpiece of this nail art look. And I've sped up a lot of this footage because you don't need to see me make my mistakes in detail. But this is where things start to go wrong. Specifically with this arm. I don't know why I didn't look at the image more often while I was trying to recreate this, but I did the arm on the wrong side of the nail, and I think that threw me off a lot more than I originally thought. Somewhere deep down in my soul, I knew something was wrong with this, so I decided to add my darkest color, which is black, to try to fix things. And if you've ever done tiny pictures on your nails or on any canvas, you tend to work from your lightest colors to your darkest colors. Not from your lightest to your darkest in like no steps at all. Because it causes a mess and you have to redo things a lot of the time. Which you'll see in a little bit where I redo almost everything. I should really make sure that I go through my own rules when I'm creating nail art because once again I decided to go in with black to do some of the smaller details first, which is just a no-no. I should have worked from lightest to darkest, but I'm dummy, so I decided to do the mouth, which was too big, and I should have looked at the picture more carefully. And then I decided to put the eyes on, starting with the black. And here I am trying to figure out where to put the eyes because I made the mouth too big, so the mouth does not fit nicely in between the eyes. Which is going to be a problem later because it looks terrible. Like, what is that? What is that? It's bad, it's just bad. So I decided to fix the eyes with a little bit of acetone. Because apparently acetone can fix everything. It's the Superman of nail art. Unfortunately, you can't really fix those soulless eyes unless you have a little bit of Disney magic, which I don't. So I decided to work on his mouth. Which didn't go well, because why would you give this monster the ability to eat you? To create some depth to his chomper, I added some acetone to some red nail polish to try to make an illusion of a pink mouth. It was okay, and I would definitely use this technique again to create depth, but I was working too slowly on too small of a scale. I should have done a little bit more acetone to polish, so it kind of ends up looking a little streaky. Because I was done looking at his soulless eyes, I decided to give this Kirby a little bit of life by adding the blue to his eyes And I shouldn't have used this stupid brush, because it did what it always does. Holds the polish in the wrong spot, and essentially just slapped it all over. And you can see that I get gradually more and more frustrated, because you and your limp brush. But you know what'll fix this? Because it fixes everything in nail art: acetone. I went in with more acetone and I smeared everything around on the pink Kirby body, and I just smeared its soulless eyes everywhere, and I dug into its mouth with my acetone brush, and I just smeared the black and the red everywhere so it looked like a bruise. And then that part of the eye was too small, and then the other part of the eye was too big, and then there was blue everywhere, and I gave up. I gave up at this point. Oh, wait, no. I tried to fix it more, and then I smushed white everywhere. Yeah. You can see I literally gave up with that little wrist gesture, and so I wiped everything off. I just wiped it all away, so I'd never have to deal with the sins of this again. But because I've cultivated a small audience, I have to hold myself to my schedule, which means I have to continue doing this dumb Kirby painting because people expect something on Saturdays now. So I went over everything with the pink to try to fix it, and I followed my own rule finally. I went in with my lighter colors, trying to add that pretty little pink shadow with my tiny brush. And this is where it gets better. I promise. No more complaining. We're on the right track finally because I listened to my own stupid rules. And of course, those who surround us always have the best commentary. Please enjoy these words from my husband.
I made a very cursed Kirby.
One's in that picture, great.
That's not me.
Oh, that's...
God damn it.
Thank you so much, husband, for those wonderful words of encouragement. Once I had added the pink to all of the places that I wanted there to be pink to give Kirby a little bit more of a rounder field with some depth and dimension, we moved on to the next color, which is that stupid blue, which it was hard to use, which is why you probably shouldn't follow this as a tutorial. But I went in with a different brush to apply the blue to his eyes, and it turned out okay. Like, those eyes aren't horribly scary, but I went back in with a different brush to apply my black outline for the mouth. I did need to go in with the darker color first, just to kind of get an idea about where I wanted things, just to make sure that the placement was okay, and that placement was okay. After finishing the outline of Kirby's mouth, I went in with a detail brush to add the red depth, and this time I just didn't really care. I wasn't going to try to make it all gradienty. I just added the red so it was there. And then because I hated that bottom part of the nail, I put his foot right there. I just covered it up with some red paint. So yeah, it's not the best, but I feel like this second attempt on making Kirby look more like Kirby turned out better. I wouldn't call this a true success, but I would say if I did this again using nail polish, which I definitely won't be doing, I think I could make a near perfect Kirby. It still looks good. It looks fine from far away, but I personally wasn't 100% satisfied with the execution of this, which is why I've included essentially 12 minutes of me complaining and goofing around. I do mean it all in jest. I just thought it would be funny to kind of have a nail fail once again. I like seeing people do nail fails. They make me feel like I'm not a horribly flawed nail artist in any way. We all make mistakes, but here's Kirby in all of his final glory. The only thing I needed to do was add a quick-dry top coat to all of my nails. And once I had that quick-dry top coat on my nails, it actually doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look as lumpy and bumpy, and it looks passable. Not as good as Tengoku's, but it's passable. This is a little bit different from what I usually do, so I hope you liked it. If you liked this video, and if you like my videos, make sure to subscribe. God, it's that Starrily polish that really just saved the day on this one. Just completed the look. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Bye!